Oh baby, I never thought I'd be saying this, but we're back with Fairy Tail. Now, just like I said with Eden Zero, and I still might talk about Eden Zero from here and there, because so far I haven't been disappointed, but with the Fairy Tail 100 Years quest manga, I don't know if I'm going to be doing reviews like that. I mean, I faithfully reviewed Fairy Tail up until the end, but in case you don't know about Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, if you're a Fairy Tail fan or you're interested in Fairy Tail or you read all of it and you're like, man, I wouldn't mind more, Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest is literally just picking up from where the story left off. It's not like there's brand new characters in the main cast. It's not like there's a big change. Even the art style, which apparently the art is not done by Hiromashima, it looks damn near identical to Hiromashima's art. So if you are skeptical, you love Fairy Tail, you like Fairy Tail, you want more, but you don't know if you should jump into this, I can tell you right now, it's straight up, it's Fairy Tail. It's like it never ended, honestly. It feels straight up, this is Fairy Tail. So with that being said, 2 chapters have come out for it so far, the first 2 chapters, and I definitely got to say that I was a little skeptical amongst many other reasons or whatever, but in particular as to where can we go with Fairy Tail from here, right? Because we already seen that at the end of the day, Acnologia and Zeref were the 2 biggest threats in the world. How do we do it? We seen them taken down or whatever, but it was like, okay, so where do we go from here? Because at the end of the day, this is a battle series, despite the ecchi, which there was some ecchi. The mage jumping in Lucy's boobs and Natsu digging his hand in Lucy's boob. I'm just saying the ecchi, but this is a battle series, and you got to keep on upping the ante. We've seen it in many different series. In Dragon Ball, you started off, we're fighting just animals. Next thing you know, we're fighting gods by where we're at right now. So you always got to keep up building up the ante or making credible threats that are on the same level or higher as the previous, because if not, then it's just like, what are we doing? The heroes are going to have a easy time, which it's with Fairy Tail, they have easy time damn near all the time anyway, but that's besides the point. So I was a little bit skeptical, but I can say that at the very least, despite some of the logic that I question of what the hell were they doing when all of this went down, or what the hell was that mage doing when the whole Acnologia war and Zeref war was going on, whatever, we definitely have something here. I could say that Hiromashima being behind the story, at the very least, he's keeping it once again engaging, a bit mysterious, and overall, it's just straight up, it's Fairy Tail. So going back to the first chapter, the very first chapter, we see there's a mage, it's a color page, the mage, and he's in absolute despair. You see a lot of people hurt, and he's walking away, and it's like something really bad happened in this time period, right? Like the mage is just in utter despair, things is really, really bad. So it starts off with that, then we jump in, and honestly, there was a lot of time wasters in these chapters, because if you think about it, this is the 100 Years quest, right? And the whole big thing about it is the Fairy Tail group themselves, the main cast, is going on this mission or whatever, seeing what's going on in the guild. Unless they're going to have some problems or some obstacles, or they're doing something, it's just kind of like, okay, it's cool to see the cast back, I guess, right? Like, a lot of people do like a lot of these Fairy Tail characters, but what is it serving to the overall plot? So it starts off with 3 new, well, it starts off with, at the very least, 3 new members of Fairy Tail. 2 of them get scared off immediately from Loxus and Gildarts. They're like, yo, we can't hang in Fairy Tail. And then there's one left, a fangirl of Natsu's, that think they're gonna magically fall in love, which it was kind of interesting to see that, when they were talking about, oh, who would be a threat to get Natsu's heart, Lisana was still thrown in there. Like, I thought, the anime, they tried or whatever, but I thought that was already an abandoned plot line. I thought it was Nalu forever, you know what I'm saying? But we got a new member of Fairy Tail. Again, I don't see how relevant it's going to be. I'm assuming at some given point, the main cast is going to have to come back, because they're probably going to get their butts handed to them or whatever. But for now, it's just kind of like, okay, so we have a new member of Fairy Tail. She's a Natsu fangirl, and we get to see the whole cast, and they're having a fun time. But again, I'm just like, what does this serve other than, hey, we're at Fairy Tail, look at Makarov, he's still little, like, so I was just kind of like, it's fun, I guess. So some parts of the chapters, whenever we cut back to what's going on in the guild, I'm like, I'm hoping that they do something exciting and interesting, or bring everything back in, so that way the people that stood at Fairy Tail can actually have a role, and not just like, oh, they're there, you know what I'm saying? So with that being said, let's talk about what the main cast is doing, because they're off on this 100 Years quest, and they run into what appears to be a dragon. And immediately when I see him, and of course we find out that he's actually a human that basically used Dragon Slayer magic to the point where he turned into a dragon, I just gotta ask, bro, what were you doing when Acnologia was on this tirade and this warpath? If you was on this quest and you really want to get rid of these 5 dragons that rival Acnologia, if Acnologia, which we'll talk about that, and I know I just blurted that out like, hey, it's not a big deal. That's a very big deal. Could be problematic, could be whatever, but what were you doing? What were you doing at the end of Fairy Tail when everything was going down? Why didn't you come, if you're a good person, you're trying to solve things, right? Why didn't you jump into the fight? So kind of, I don't know if it makes me have a little distrust in him. It could be. Maybe there's something off with him as well. Maybe he's trying actually to free them or something. Maybe he went crazy. I mean, again, in the beginning of the first chapter, it looks as though a lot of bad things happened. So maybe it could be that, he actually is genuine, and more than likely he's genuine. I think it'd be an interesting twist again that, he's sending them because he wants them to free those dragons so they can roam free or whatever. But again, I gotta ask, like, really, bro, what were you doing? What happened? Where were you when all that went down? So that's kind of a question I had, especially if you have that type of power. You were a dragon, so you had to turn into a dragon. You could have helped out. When Neil was getting bodied and all them, by Tartarus, you could have helped out. I'm just saying, bro. So we see that interaction, the etchiness in there, him jumping into Lucy's boobs. I'm like, bro, you're not me. That should be me. But seriously, it was like, okay, here's the plot. And I always thought, but I actually went back and watched, and it was never, to my knowledge anyway, I saw in the anime. I don't know, I didn't reread the manga, whatnot, but I always thought the 100-year quest that Gildarts had was to take down Acnologia, but apparently Acnologia just got in his way during the 100-year quest, and that's why he had to come back, because he just got absolutely bodied by Acnologia. I thought Acnologia was the 100-year quest, or he had something to do with it, or maybe he was a part of it at the time. Maybe it was that there was 6 dragons, 1 roaming free and 5 in the bubble, and Gildarts got wrecked by Acnologia, so it was like, if I can't take this dude, I'm going to take out, and to be honest with you, how did Gildarts think he was going to take out 6 dragons? He must have really, really underestimate what dragons can do. Like, bro, did you see when they came through the time portal in the Eclipse arc? Like, get out of here. You're not a dragon slayer. What you thought you was going to do? So finding out that the actual 100 Years quest, which you can't talk about it, once you sign it, you're done. You're stuck. You got to do the quest. You can't tell nobody about it or whatever. It's that there's 5 dragons and they're at this certain place, and pretty much he wants them to slay the dragons. He wants dragon slayers to do what dragon slayers do, and that's slay dragons. So kind of interesting. Again, I'm skeptical. I'm questioning, is there more to it? Is there something else in there? And to be honest with you, I'm like, 5 dragons that are roughly the same of Acnologia. When Acnologia was built up, like, there's nobody as strong as him, nobody stronger than him, nobody's close or whatever. Now there's 5 more we never heard of. I mean, you could argue, because I want to be fair. I'm not coming in here, I've never come in here strictly to just say, fairy tale, whatever. You could argue that Fior is a small place, in comparison to the rest of the world. In other parts of the world, in other parts of the continent or whatever, people might not know. People maybe didn't know about, that there's more outside. Gildarts probably knew or whatever, but people probably just were unaware of these other dragons. Again, it could be that there is no other 5 dragons. Again, this guy could be fishy, which I'm throwing all this guessing in there or whatever. There could be something else to it, but there's 5 more dragons, and they're equally as strong as Acnologia, or arguably, whatever. I'm like, okay. And one other tidbit in the chapters was that the key to Aquarius might be over there as well. To be honest with you, I don't see this spin-off sequel lasting that long. If the whole thing is Fairy Tail 100 Years quest, right, and they're already on that quest, and things is moving pretty quickly, we already know what the goal is, and, etc., etc., this might not be that long of a manga. I mean, I could see it, if it got really, really popular, the quest is bigger than ever, or whatever, but this won't go on for, like, years and years, maybe a year tops, I'm guessing, depending on its popularity. But, again, it was like, okay, this is Fairy Tail at the end of the day, so I'm gonna expect the fairy tale when the fights come and stuff like that. I'm gonna expect it all, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna be naive, I'm not gonna be optimistic. I'm expecting when the fights come, every awesome build-up that we've had to be, it could be cool, it could be great, but Mashima's the one writing it, unfortunately, which I don't even want to say that, because Mashima, he's done some great things or whatever, but we know how this whole thing goes, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be very skeptical. Overall though, very, very good start, very questionable start at the same time. Has me like, this guy, why wasn't he there? Like the same things I said earlier, why wasn't he there? All of a sudden there's 5 dragons that were just as strong as Acnologia. Acnologia is supposed to be this god among dragons and men alike. Like, what? Kind of curious what you guys think about all this. For starters, Do you even care that there's more Fairy Tail? Again, this is just straight up like, you take out the 100 Years quest and it's just like, oh, Fairy Tail's continued. It's straight up, it's Fairy Tail. So are you interested? Do you not care? You're done with Fairy Tail at this point? Also, what do you think about the questions I have regarding where was this guy? Why all of a sudden there's dragons, Equal Attack, Nologia? What's up with all of this? Also, what do you think they're going to do with the guild? Because we keep on cutting back to the guild and they're not a part of the 100 Years quest. So you think something's going to happen over there? There's going to be an attack? And your overall expectations for Fairy Tail 100 Years quest thus far? I'm looking forward to sort of. I like the fact that, you know, because I did enjoy parts of Fairy Tail. I like that it is. So if you're a Fairy Tail fan, there you go. It's Fairy Tail. If you hate Fairy Tail, don't even bother. You know what I'm saying? Hey, overall thoughts. But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, stalk my Facebook, follow me on Twitch, and hit the bell to get all notifications. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day.
We make a major move, laugh and let the haters lose. We don't give a fuck, virginity intact, clean stack. Paper rules, if you heard it, best believe that. But now it's whatever, one day I'll be your favorite, but never.